court today refused to fix a price for COVID treatment, observing that the situation and cost of healthcare varied from state to state and access to healthcare is as fundamental as access to justice. The court also observed that a dynamic call can be taken by the central government and the state governments in consultation with various stakeholders over fixing the cost of COVID treatment, and a blanket order cannot be passed since the cost of healthcare and the situation varied across different states. The court also agreed with the demand made by the petitioner to regulate the cost of COVID treatment. The petitioner had contended that several patients were refused admission by hospitals since they could not pay up the high cost of COVID treatment. Also, the top court has asked the Solicitor General to write to all states to follow a successful model of COVID treatment. The court had observed that the Gujarat model of COVID treatment was turning out to be successful, but it remains to be seen whether the same can be replicated in other states or whether the same model would be applicable for various states, and a dynamic call needs to be taken across various states in consultation with various stakeholders. The Solicitor General informed the court that the Union government has already constituted a high-level committee to look into the issue. The centre has been asked to write to states to ensure proper access to healthcare and adoption of a good state model, which can also act as a guideline. The private hospitals had told the court that they were not here to make money at a point of time when the global pandemic was still going on and the country was still grappling with the COVID crisis, but they stated that one price cannot be fixed across the country for COVID treatment, since not only ventilators but also several other factors need to be looked at. Also, Centre had submitted by means of an affidavit in the top court that they cannot ask private hospitals to treat COVID patients at a low cost, and they cannot issue orders under law. They have to decide on the model of treatment depending on the duration of the pandemic, and still there was no clarity till when the pandemic is going to continue. Also, the petitioner had claimed that subsidized COVID treatment by private hospitals should be given under Ayushman Bharat scheme. He had claimed that many private hospitals were charging exorbitant rates during a global pandemic and many people had died since they could not afford treatment. He had cited that several private and charitable hospitals had procured land at concessional rates from government, and at this point of time they need to rise to the situation and ensure that they do not overcharge and ensure treatment for all patients who come to their doorstep.